Clarity before action. It sounds simple, yet it is the rarest gift a human being can give to themselves. Most of us are taught from a young age to act quickly, to chase opportunities, to never stop moving. Society tells us that success belongs to those who run the fastest. But what is the use of running fast if you are running in the wrong direction? What is the point of climbing a ladder only to realize it is leaning against the wrong wall? In the monastery, one of the first lessons a master gives to a young disciple is not how to fight, not how to kick or punch or block, but how to sit, just sit. Many young students become frustrated. They think, I came here to learn how to be strong, how to master my body, and all you want me to do is sit still? The master only smiles, because he knows something the student has not yet discovered. Without clarity, every action is blind. You see, clarity is like opening your eyes before you walk. Imagine being blindfolded and running through a forest. You can move, you can run fast, but every step carries the risk of smashing into a tree, tripping on a stone, or falling off a cliff. Without clarity, life is just like this. People rush into careers, relationships, decisions, not because they are ready, but because they are afraid to pause, afraid that if they stop, the world will leave them behind. But the truth is, the world is already leaving behind those who do not take time to see. When we talk about clarity, we are not only talking about knowing your next goal. We are speaking about knowing yourself. Many people know the path to wealth, but they do not know what truly makes them happy. They know how to make others proud, but they do not know what gives their own soul peace. This is why monks spend hours, days, even years in stillness, not because they have nothing to do, but because they know that every action that is not born from inner clarity will eventually lead to suffering. I remember when I was younger, training under my master in the Shaolin temple. There was a time when I wanted to prove myself. I trained harder than anyone else. I pushed my body beyond exhaustion. I believed that if I just worked harder, faster, longer, I would reach mastery. But one day, my master called me and said, "You move like a river in a storm, fast, violent, restless. But a true river that reaches the ocean moves with knowing. Sit down." I did not understand, but I obeyed. For 1 full week I was told not to train my body, not to touch a weapon, not to practice forms. My only task was to sit at the edge of a mountain and watch the sunrise. At first, my mind screamed. I felt guilty for not moving. I thought, I am wasting time. Others are getting stronger while I sit here doing nothing. But as the days passed, something inside me shifted. I began to hear the sound of the wind in the trees. I began to feel the heartbeat of my own body. And then, I began to notice that for the first time, I was not thinking about impressing anyone. I was not chasing approval. I simply sat with myself. And in that stillness, I saw what I truly wanted. Not what my fear wanted, not what my ego wanted, but what my soul was quietly whispering. This is clarity, when the noise of the world fades enough for you to hear the quiet voice within. Many people think they need to change their life by doing more work, more hustle, more pushing. But transformation often begins by doing less, by creating space for reflection. Without silence, you cannot hear. Without stillness, you cannot see. If you see this message before July 4, 2025, you have been given time, a moment to stop running, and to ask yourself, what am I truly chasing? Where is my energy flowing? Is my ladder leaning against the right wall? Clarity does not come by accident. It is cultivated, like a garden. You must pull out the weeds of distraction. You must water the seeds of wisdom. Every day, take moments to detach from the noise. No phone, no voices, no demands, just you and your breath. In those quiet spaces, questions that have been buried under years of pressure begin to rise. Some answers may be painful. You may realize you are living someone else's dream, or that your actions are guided more by fear than by love. But only by facing these truths can you redirect your path. I have seen people work tirelessly for decades, only to realize they were chasing shadows. They built empires but lost themselves. They reached heights of success but carried emptiness inside. This is the tragedy of action without clarity. It may bring you to the top, but it will not bring you peace. Clarity also means knowing the nature of your own mind. A cloudy lake cannot reflect the sky. Similarly, a restless mind cannot reflect truth. Before you take action, you must calm the waters. This is why monks meditate. Meditation is not about escaping life, it is about returning to it with clear eyes. Imagine holding a glass of muddy water. If you keep shaking it, it remains cloudy. But if you place it down and let it rest, the dirt settles and the water becomes clear. Your mind is the same. Every time you stop, breathe and become still, the dirt of confusion begins to settle. Slowly, your true desires, your authentic path becomes visible. And clarity does not only serve you, it serves everyone around you. A person without clarity is like a lost traveler. They wander, they stumble, and often they pull others into their confusion. But a person with clarity is like a lighthouse. Their presence guides others without words, because they move from a place of knowing. They make decisions, not from fear, not from urgency, but from understanding. If you want to change your life before July 4, 2025, do not start by asking, "What should I do?" Instead ask, "What do I need to see clearly?" It could be the truth about a relationship. It could be honesty about your own habits. It could be a realization that what you've been told is success does not align with your spirit. Only when you see clearly can you act with power. When you look at a master performing a martial art, every movement seems effortless, almost slow, yet incredibly powerful. This is because every strike, every block, every step is born from clarity. The master is not thinking about 10 moves ahead. He is fully aware, fully present. There is no wasted motion, no scattered energy. That is the difference between a fighter and a master. The fighter throws punches hoping one will land. The master throws one punch knowing it will. Life is no different. Without clarity, you throw punches at every opportunity, hoping something will work. With clarity, you know exactly where to strike, when to step forward, when to retreat. You save years of wandering simply because you dared to stop and see. Clarity before action also means understanding that not every path is yours to walk. Many times, we feel pressure to follow trends, to do what everyone else is doing. But clarity allows you to say, "This is not my journey." It allows you to let go of what doesn't serve you, even if the world praises it. True courage is not running faster than everyone else. It is having the strength to stop running when you realize the race is meaningless to you. As July 4 approaches, see this moment as a gift. Ask yourself, if I could only do one thing for the next year, what would it be? What action would make my soul feel alive, not just my ego? When you find that answer, every other action becomes secondary. You no longer scatter your energy chasing 100 goals. You focus, you align, and suddenly, life stops feeling like a battle. It becomes a dance. The journey to clarity will not be easy. It will challenge you more than action ever could. It will require you to face silence, and silence can be uncomfortable. It will ask you to question beliefs you have held for years. It may lead you to walk away from things you once thought were essential, but on the other side of that discomfort is freedom. The freedom to move through life not as a machine reacting to circumstances, but as a conscious being shaping destiny. So congratulations if you see this message now, because unlike many, you have been reminded that you have a choice. You can continue rushing, continue running blind, or you can stop and open your eyes. The world does not need more speed, it needs more awareness. Before you take your next step, before you make your next decision, breathe deeply and see where your true path lies. When you act from clarity, even the smallest step has power. And when July 4 arrives, you will not only celebrate a date, you will celebrate the moment you chose vision over chaos, wisdom over noise, and clarity before action. Discipline is freedom. At first, this sounds like a paradox. How can discipline, which feels like restriction, possibly lead to freedom, which feels like release? Yet this is one of life's greatest truths, one that only reveals itself to those willing to walk the path of mastery. Most people see discipline as chains that hold them down. They think freedom means doing whatever you want, whenever you want, to sleep when you're tired, to eat when you crave, to work only when you feel inspired. But this is not freedom. This is slavery. Slavery to impulses, to habits, to moods. A person without discipline is like a leaf blown by the wind, tossed here and there by every emotion, every desire, every distraction. When you see a Shaolin monk moving with strength and grace, it is not because he was born extraordinary. It is because he submitted himself to the fire of discipline. For years, waking before the sun, training through pain,
repeating the same movements thousands of times, even when the body screamed to stop. This discipline forged something greater than muscle or skill. It forged freedom. The freedom to move with mastery, to remain calm under pressure, to face challenges without fear. You might think, but discipline feels like suffering. Why choose it willingly? Imagine a musician. At first the guitar feels foreign, the fingers ache, the sounds are clumsy. Practicing every day feels tedious. But slowly, something happens. The hands become fluent, the strings respond effortlessly, and the music flows like water. Now, that same musician can pick up a guitar and express their soul freely, while someone without discipline can only watch in frustration. This is the essence of discipline. It is the bridge between limitation and liberation. In life, without discipline, you are trapped. Trapped by procrastination, by weakness, by the inability to control your own mind. You might dream of achieving great things, of building a life of purpose, of becoming someone strong and unshakable. But dreams without discipline are illusions. They comfort you for a moment, but never carry you forward. Discipline is what transforms vision into reality. I remember a story my master once told me during training. He said, 2 prisoners sat in chains. One cursed the chains, hating them, wishing to be free. The other began to study the chains, how they locked, how they were made, how to move with them. Years later, the first prisoner still sat in his misery, while the second had learned to pick the lock and walk free. The chains are our weaknesses, our lack of control. Discipline is not the chains, it is the key that unlocks them. True discipline is not punishment, it is training. It teaches you to master the one thing that truly matters, yourself. Without this mastery, the world will master you. Every advertisement, every temptation, every opinion of others will control your actions. You will say, I had no choice, this is just who I am. But with discipline, you create choice. You gain the power to act, not react, to say no when it matters, to endure when others quit. When you begin to practice discipline, it feels heavy. The body resists, the mind complains. But think of a sword. When the raw metal is first placed in the fire and struck with hammers, it resists. It bends awkwardly. Yet every strike, every moment in the flames, shapes it into something sharp, unbreakable, and beautiful. Without that process, the metal remains weak and useless. Likewise, you are the raw metal. Life will put you in the fire whether you choose it or not. Discipline is when you willingly step into the fire to forge yourself, instead of waiting for chaos to burn you unexpectedly. There are people who wait for motivation to take action. They think, when I feel ready, when I'm inspired, I will start. But this is not the way. If you depend on feelings, you will live a life of hesitation. Discipline means doing what must be done, even when you do not feel like it. The monk does not train only when it's sunny. He trains in the cold rain, in the harsh wind, in silence, because he knows that the body and mind must be commanded, not begged. Discipline builds something far more precious than momentary comfort. It builds trust. When you keep promises to yourself, when you rise early, train, work, and honor your commitments, you begin to trust your own strength. Every small victory adds a stone to the foundation of confidence. One day you wake up and realize you are no longer doubting, no longer fragile. You have become someone you can rely on. That reliability is freedom. Think of a wild horse running through an open field. At first glance you think, that is freedom. No reins, no rider, just movement. But without training, that horse cannot be guided, cannot be ridden into battle, cannot traverse long distances safely. True freedom for the horse comes only after discipline, after learning to channel its strength, to focus its energy. Then it can run not just wildly, but with purpose, carrying others, conquering challenges, traveling great distances. So it is with you. Without discipline, your energy scatters. You start many things, finish few. You make promises you cannot keep. You dream of heights you cannot climb. But with discipline, every bit of your energy becomes focused. You move with precision, not waste. When obstacles appear, you do not crumble. You are prepared, for you have trained for storms long before they arrived. If you see this before July 4th, 2025, you have time to choose discipline. It does not mean becoming harsh or unkind to yourself. It means becoming a caretaker of your potential. Begin small. Wake up when you say you will. Train your body, even for a few minutes each day. Practice stillness. Speak truthfully. Honor your word. These small acts, repeated with discipline, are seeds that grow into unshakable strength. And remember, discipline is not only about doing difficult things, it is also about not doing what harms you, to resist distractions, to control anger, to silence negative self-talk. To refrain from actions that weaken your spirit. This is as much discipline as running 10 miles or practicing 1,000 kicks. In the monastery, there is a saying, the one who conquers others is strong. The one who conquers himself is invincible. Every time you choose discipline over impulse, you conquer yourself. Each morning you rise when you wish to sleep. Each moment you continue when you wish to quit. You win a quiet battle inside. These victories accumulate until one day you find that nothing outside can enslave you, because you are no longer a prisoner of your own weakness. Discipline also creates freedom of time. Without it, hours slip away to distractions and you feel constantly rushed, overwhelmed, late. With discipline, you structure your life, making space for what truly matters. You work efficiently, you rest fully, you live intentionally. What once felt like scarcity of time becomes abundance. Some people look at disciplined lives and think they are boring or rigid. They see the monk's schedule, the athlete's training, the musician's practice, and they think, I could never live like that, I want freedom. But they do not see what lies beneath. The monk who trains in silence can also enjoy nature with unmatched presence. The athlete who controls their body can climb mountains, run marathons, feel alive in ways the undisciplined cannot. The musician who practices tirelessly can create music that moves the soul. Discipline does not take away joy. It gives you access to deeper joy, because you are no longer limited by weakness, and there is a final layer to discipline that few understand. It connects you to your true self. When you strip away indulgence, laziness, distraction, you are left face to face with who you really are. This can be uncomfortable at first, but as you continue, you discover that underneath all the noise, there is a part of you that is calm, strong, wise. Discipline reveals this self. It allows you to live not as a servant to the world's chaos, but as a master of your own being. So do not see discipline as chains. See it as the sword you forge to cut away what does not serve you. See it as the wings that will allow you to fly where others only dream. See it as the only true path to freedom. When July 4 arrives, if you have embraced discipline, you will not just celebrate a date. You will celebrate the day you chose to free yourself from yourself. You will look in the mirror and see not someone waiting for motivation, not someone running from weakness, but someone who has become strong enough to live without fear. That is the greatest freedom of all. Strength through struggle. It is a truth that every master understands, but most of the world spends a lifetime trying to avoid. We have been taught that struggle is a sign of weakness, that pain should be escaped, that hardship means something has gone wrong. Yet the universe has a different law, a law written in every corner of nature. Nothing grows strong without resistance. Look at the bamboo tree. For the first 5 years after planting its seed, you see almost nothing above the ground. Every day the farmer waters it, nurtures it, tends to it, and still there is only silence. People walk by and laugh, saying, "Why do you waste your time? Nothing is growing." But beneath the soil, something extraordinary is happening. The roots are spreading deep and wide, preparing to hold a tree that will someday tower high. Then, almost suddenly, in the 5th year, the bamboo shoots up more than 80 feet in just a few weeks. Without those years of unseen struggle, the tree could never stand tall. It would collapse at the first wind. The struggles you face now, the setbacks, the pain, the obstacles, are not signs of failure. They are the roots growing deep within you. They are preparing you for heights you cannot yet imagine. Every challenge is secretly an invitation to become unshakable. In the Shaolin temple, our training is designed not to make life easy, but to make the monk strong enough to face life as it is. I remember my first winter of training. The mountain winds were like knives slicing through the skin. We would wait before dawn, barefoot on the frozen ground, our breath turning into clouds in the air. My body ached, my muscles screamed, and many times my mind whispered, "Why not quit? Why suffer like this?" One day during horse stance training, a grueling posture where we squat low for hours, I felt my legs trembling, my body ready to collapse. My master approached, his face calm, and said, "The body breaks before the spirit does. This pain you feel now is not an enemy. It is your teacher. If you fight it, it will defeat you. If you embrace it, it will forge you." Those words never left me. I realized that struggle is not something to endure reluctantly. It is something to welcome. It is the furnace where strength is born. Without that winter, without the pain, without those moments of wanting to give up, I would not have discovered the depth of my own resilience. Society often promises comfort. It tells you that success means avoiding difficulty, finding shortcuts, making life as easy as possible. But comfort is a cage. It keeps you soft,
unprepared for storms. When real challenges come, and they will, you crumble, because you never allowed yourself to be tempered by struggle. True strength is not built in moments of ease. It is built when you have every reason to stop, but you take one more step. It is built when you are tired, cold, doubting yourself, yet you keep moving. Each moment of struggle adds a layer of armor, not around your heart, but within it. It makes you capable of carrying weight that would crush others. Think of a sword. Before it becomes sharp and powerful, it must be hammered repeatedly, folded thousands of times, thrust into fire, and cooled in water. Every strike, every flame, every harsh process strengthens the steel. If the sword avoided these struggles, it would remain brittle, useless in battle. The same is true for the human spirit. Every failure, every rejection, every loss is a strike of the hammer shaping you. Every hardship you survive adds to your strength. This is why masters do not fear struggle. They respect it. They understand that the path to mastery is not lined with comfort, but with trials that refine the soul. Many people run from pain, hoping to find a life without it. But pain is unavoidable. The only choice you have is whether you let it break you or build you. When you face struggle consciously, when you allow it to teach you, pain transforms into power. It shows you that you are far stronger than you believed. I remember a young disciple who came to the temple full of energy and excitement. He wanted to learn fast, to become a great fighter quickly. But when training became hard, when blisters formed on his hands and bruises covered his arms, he grew frustrated. One day he threw down his staff and said, "This is pointless. I thought training would make me strong, but it's only making me hurt." My master overheard and simply replied, "Does the tree become strong by avoiding the wind, or by standing in it until its roots dig deep?" The disciple did not answer, but he picked up his staff again. Years later, that same student became one of the temple's finest warriors, not because his path was easy, but because he learned to let struggle mold him. Struggle also reveals character. When everything is going well, anyone can seem calm, kind, confident, but true character is shown when life pushes you to the edge. Do you give up? Do you betray your values? Or do you stand firm, even when it costs you comfort? Strength through struggle is not just physical, it is moral and spiritual. It is the courage to stay true to yourself when the world pressures you to bend. If you see this message before July 4th, 2025, understand this. Whatever hardships you are facing now, they are not meaningless. They are training you. They are building muscles of the spirit that comfort could never build. Every challenge you overcome now prepares you for greater opportunities ahead. Struggle is also the doorway to wisdom. Without falling, you cannot learn balance. Without losing, you cannot understand value. Without hunger, you cannot truly taste abundance. The people who shine with wisdom are not those who avoided pain, they are those who walked through it, learned its lessons, and emerged with compassion for others still inside the storm. In the monastery, when we climb steep mountain paths during training, the journey is exhausting. The rocks cut our feet, the sun burns, the incline tests every ounce of stamina. Yet when we reach the peak, the view is breathtaking. The valleys stretch endlessly, the sky opens wide, and the air feels pure. But here is the truth. You cannot experience that beauty if you refuse the climb. The struggle of the ascent makes the summit possible. So too in life. The greatest achievements, the deepest peace, the highest joys, they exist on peaks that can only be reached by enduring the climb. If you avoid struggle, you remain in the valley, safe but limited. If you embrace it, you rise to heights you once thought impossible. And there is another gift hidden in struggle. It binds people together. When you face hardship with others, whether in training, in battle, or in life, you form bonds of brotherhood and sisterhood that nothing else can create. Shared struggle forges trust. It shows you who stands beside you when the path is darkest. These connections, born from challenge, become a source of strength for the rest of your life. To find strength through struggle, you must shift your mind. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this teaching me?" Instead of running from difficulty, lean into it with awareness. Each obstacle is an opportunity to sharpen your mind, strengthen your body, and deepen your spirit. The butterfly is perhaps the most beautiful lesson nature gives us about this truth. Inside its cocoon, it must struggle fiercely to break free. If someone cuts the cocoon to help it, the butterfly emerges weak, unable to fly, because it never developed the strength in its wings through struggle. The very process that looks painful is what enables it to soar. So do not not fear your cocoon. Do not curse the struggle that feels unbearable. Know that within it, your wings are forming. One day, because of what you endured, you will rise, unshakable, free, and powerful. When July 4 arrives, if you have embraced your struggles instead of running from them, you will not only celebrate overcoming hardship, you will celebrate becoming someone transformed by it. You will stand taller, not because life was easy, but because you discovered that strength is not given, it is earned through every challenge you chose to face and conquer.